Welcome back. If you've just tuned in, we're discussing investigation claims of corruption contained in former Public Protector's State of Capture report. And we're joined in studio by Advocate Luvuyo Mfaku, and he is with the National Prosecuting Authority. Again, thanks for staying on with us here on the programme. Before the break, I was talking about the question mark that's hanging over the National Prosecuting Authority's head, and many people feeling that they've lost faith in it. Does that concern the Prosecuting Authority at all?
We are really concerned about those perceptions. We really understand where they're emanating from. They emanate from the fact that people expect the NPA to get involved in investigation and lead investigation, which is not the constitutional mandate of the NPA. Ours is to conduct prosecutions on behalf of the state. We do not investigate crime. And the media has not helped the situation. They have perpetuated that notion that the NPA must investigate, instead of educating the public that this is the role of the NPA within the criminal justice system, and this is the role of the police. But these two agencies, at some stage, they work closely and they converge and look at matters where prosecutors give assistance. For instance, in this matter, this team that has been established, they meet with the investigating officers in what they called case planning sessions, where the investigators will present the evidence that they have gathered. The prosecutors would analyze from a prosecutorial perspective and give guidance in terms of what they must look at, who they should actually interview, whether they should subpoena any financial institution or any person's account. Those are ongoing engagements up until the prosecutors get to a stage where they feel that they've gathered relevant evidence which is admissible and credible, and therefore we are ready to take the matter to court. It is not a process that you can do it overnight. There's emails that are thrown around. We can never take a Daily Maverick report and say they're saying A, B, C, and D and go to court. The presiding officer would actually chuck that out of court, and then once that is thrown out of court, the very same public would lose confidence in the NPA. They would say the NPA is taking matters. Then when they go to court, those matters are thrown out of court.
I want to talk about something you said now, that it's the media that's creating the wrong perception. Let's talk about our former public protector, because this was all contained in her State of Capture report. So, the media sort of reports on these things. And I'm going to quote her verbatim, because she was speaking at a gathering that was held in Wits at the beginning of this week. She went on to say, if you look at what happened with the Panama Papers, most countries had institutions forcing people to respond immediately. How long have we had the Gupta leaks? No one has been forced to sign an affidavit. No one has been forced to comment.
Ours is a constitutional democracy. We operate within the framework of human rights. Section 9 of our Constitution is clear. It says equality before the law, and everyone has got a right to equal protection and benefit of the law. We will not have another system because it's the Gupta leaks. We will actually adhere to the rule of law and allow due process to unfold.
It's amazing how fast you acted during Pravin Gordhan's case, however.
It was an investigation that was ongoing for
How long was it going on for?
For quite some time. I'm not certain about the time frame, but it was an investigation. The investigation into the so-called rogue unit was an ongoing investigation for quite some time.
I have to bring it up again. This goes back to 12 years ago. The National Prosecuting Authority knew that there was wrongdoing. This is 12 years ago, with evidence that is there, a docket that is still available that you are now picking up. And if it wasn't for the media, this would have just disappeared.
That is why we're saying we are appealing to the public to say, please give us an opportunity. We have requisitioned that docket. We will look at that docket. We will analyze and unpack the decisions not to prosecute. And if we consider that there are any grounds to pursue that matter any further, we will certainly do that.
We heard the interview that Atal Gupta gave to the BBC, and he was speaking to international media about this. Seems like he's quite keen and willing to speak and defend himself. Have you spoken to him? Has he been approached?
Look, I would not articulate ourselves on that. That would be, it falls squarely within the ambit of the police. As the investigators, we are constrained because we're coming from a prosecutorial perspective and we're just giving guidance. So whenever they engage with you, they'll be in a position to articulate around those issues. But at the same time, I must caution that they cannot be giving a blow-by-blow account of what they are doing in order not to compromise the integrity of their investigations.
Let's look at the break-ins at the offices of, we saw the break-ins in the offices of the Chief Justice, the Hawks, the National Director of Public Prosecutions, the NPA. These are very, very worrying and concerning. Your comments on something like this, I mean, these are supposed to be the most highly protected institutions that we have, and yet we're having break-ins. We don't know as yet what's been taken from them. Or do you have updates on those cases?
Look, we are concerned as well. We were really concerned that it was first the Chief Justice's office, the Hawks, and then the NPA. That as it may, the police reacted swiftly. They are conducting their investigations. We have actually mandated our head of security and risk as well to conduct investigations to ensure that, to establish whether there are no internal breaches of security that have occurred. They're busy compiling a report. They have actually ensured that they tightened areas where they think that there has been in fact, they've heightened security within the institution. We have not had any report from the police. They are investigating. They will engage us once there is some breakthrough.
Yeah. All right. So there's still no breakthrough, even though this has almost been a month ago that these break-ins happened.
The investigation, I mean, the arrest was in respect of the Chief Justice's office, in respect of the Hawks and the NPA. They have not briefed us. There has been no arrest.
Yeah. I want to talk about, I know that there's so much to talk about in this time, but there's also the issue of PRASA. And this is another big case that's also gone to court to force the Hawks and the NPA to investigate. 5.2 billion rand worth of allegedly corrupt contracts at PRASA. Why did they have to go this far? Why did they have to actually approach the court on this one?
I really do not know. We have engaged, the chairperson of the board wrote to the NPA, and we responded and we indicated clearly that our prosecutors from SCCU are giving prosecutorial guidance in respect of the matter. I must indicate as we speak, we have actually gone public to stipulate that in May this year, the head of SCCU, Advocate Malini Gavenda, received more than 63 Akliva files from the police in respect of that investigation. He assembled a team of prosecutors to look at those, to study those files and make recommendations to her. She gave them timelines. They were supposed to have given a report by the end of July. But they have requested an extension because they are still busy with consultations with possible witnesses in respect of the matter. There's progress. There's a lot of work that has been done in that matter. It's in the final stages. Now the prosecutors, after they've concluded their consultations, they would announce, they would give a report stipulating whether there's still outstanding evidence that has to be gathered, or if there's no evidence that has to be gathered, they will decide whether anyone should be prosecuted or not in respect of the matter.
Yeah. Just a final closing remark, because it's very difficult for you, I imagine, to get rid of this perception, and it's a perception that many people do think about, that your institution and many other institutions are used as a pawn in the game of corruption, and that it really does depend on who's in control at the time. I mean, your mandate really is a national agenda, but sometimes it looks like it's compromised. Can you comment on that?
Certainly, that is not correct. If you still recall, when we arraigned Glenis Breitenbach, Dramat, and Sibia, and McBride, there was this notion that we selective in our prosecutions, and we targeting, we political in our approach, which we disputed. We took the matters to court. In respect of the Breitenberg matter, the media was saying that we will never secure any conviction. In fact, there was no case. He had been acquitted in an internal disciplinary matter. And we maintained our position that there is a disciplinary process and a criminal process. They run parallel. She was in court. She applied for a discharge in terms of 174 in respect of the 6 counts that she's facing. The court ruled, that was in June, that out of 6, 4, she has a case to answer. The media did not actually run with that story. We even issued a statement stipulating that this is what has happened in court. We never had any extensive coverage of that. That in itself shows we pursue matters where there are prospects of success, where there are acts of criminality that have been committed. We don't look at any matter in a political sense.
All right, we leave it there for this morning. Thank you for coming in. Thanks for bringing us up to speed with what's happening. But what we've gathered out of this is that we should be getting the docket. You will be commenting on that case from 12 years ago as to why that person prosecuted. That'll be happening this week. Next week, we should get an update on what's happening with the state of capture investigation.
The Hawks have promised.
The Hawks have promised to update us next week.
They will update you. They will actually engage with you.
All right, let's leave it there. Thank you very, very much for joining us. NPA spokesperson, Advocate Luvuyo Mfaku, talking to us here on Morning Live.